Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bet the Edge. Thanks for those watching on our NBC Sports YouTube channel or listening on podcast version. Coming up today, it's the Well Capper and V Money. We got March Madness blind resumes. Drew complained last week was a little too easy, so we're going to be stumped today. I didn't even look at the rundown until 10 minutes ago, Drew, so I'm already sweating. And it's an all hoops episode, so we'll talk some NBA as well after college basketball as we get closer to March Madness. How you doing, my friend? You doing well?
I'm great,
today?
man. Absolutely. I'm doing great. Great. The NBA has been pretty good to me the last handful of days. Just in general, I'm ready for March Madness, man. Let's get it on. Like this is going to be pretty competitive field this year. And I think there's a couple of fun ways to attack now beyond just the fact that I can't get enough Houston Cougars. Like every time they play,
I'm with you.
Like, yeah, man. Like, let's go, guys.
I'm with you. That was my best bet on Tuesday. Was their opponent's first half team total under. Them Oklahoma
Nice.
or Iowa State and Houston have been my two babies when it comes to team total unders because their defense is so great. But yeah, I've been doing pretty well in basketball myself, Drew. I feel like we're getting hot at the right time of year. So we're going to be testing our wits today in these blind resumes. So we might as well hop right into it. Last week, we got a few of these right, but we got some graphics today. So if you're watching live on YouTube, this one's going to be spicy. If you're listening live, we're going to try and do the best we can to give you guys the breakdown. So Team A versus Team B, Drew. Team A is going to be projected 3 seed. They are 12th in three-point offense, tied 91st, though, in three-point defense. What's good about them is they are 6-3 against quad one opponents, 21-6 overall with a 25-1 price to win the Natty. And Team B, though, they are a shortly lower price at 22-1. They are first in three-point offense, tied 91st in three-point defense. The same three-point defenses, and this team is 6-6 against quad one records. So they have 3 more losses, but 3 more games played in quad one against the other team. Team A versus Team B. Who do you like? Opening thoughts.
Okay. If you're making me take one, it's pretty clearly Team B. If you're going to give me the best team in three-point offense in the country at a price like 22-1 to win the national title, I'll take a swing at that. In single elimination type of high variance, like I'm not seeing any in the data you broke down. And on our graphic here, I'm not seeing any like fatal flaws with these guys. And if you are that elite at 3-point shooting offense, then variance is in your favor in these kind of you're going to get to the Sweet 16. And then you just got to get hot and you're going to beat the 1 seed. And then you just got to get hot and you're going to beat the better of the 2 or the 3. Like other than Houston, there's no one I'm really scared of. So I don't mind swinging on a 4 seed at a price like 22-1. 22-1. That's not bad. The projected 3 seed, a little bit better price for a Final Four and national title. A little bit of better path if you're the 3 seed relative to the 4 seed because you're not going to have to go through a 1. But there are a couple of things as I'm looking at this resume that spook me a bit about these guys. 170th in defensive turnover percentage. I know that the Team B is 194th, but if you're making threes, then I'm a little less concerned about you creating extra possessions with your turnover defense. So I think a little bit kind of more back to earth 3-point offense with that same suspect defensive turnovers has me somewhat concerned. But 6-3 record against Q1 opponents, that's good. I kind of don't mind either of these teams if they were in a bracket with the likes of a Purdue or a UConn or an Arizona. I don't know, although I don't even know if Arizona's going to get a 1 seed at this point. It's I think as long as either 3 or 4 could avoid Houston in terms of region, I kind of actually am into both of these teams. So yeah, again, like because you're counting on variance, I'm only shopping for a national title price, and because you're number 1 in 3-point offense, I'll lean to Team B here.
Yeah, I'm thinking Team B could be Wake Forest.
Ooh.
And how would you, if it was Wake Forest, how would you feel about that?
Okay, so I'm going to say it's probably not, because I think the projected 4 seed would be pretty aggressive for them. They're playing well right now. No question. Yeah. No question. They're playing well right now.
Maybe Florida?
Wake Forest is a team that you probably probably not really like all that interested in running into if they make the tournament field right now. But no, I think I bet you I'm gonna guess one of these is Baylor and the other one is maybe Duke and Baylor. What do you think?
I'm gonna say, well, 3 and 4 seeds. I mean, I'm gonna limb and say Baylor's a good guess. Baylor definitely
Baylor,
came
I
in
think, is
line.
the 4 seed, and Duke,
We
I think, is
we
the 3.
we did Alabama last week, so it's definitely not Alabama. I know they're a 3-point shoot team. I'm gonna go Kentucky and say Wake Forest, even though Wake Forest is probably not right at all. You probably got me on that one. So I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna say those two.
Okay, let's go for the reveal.
All right, reveal. What do we got? Fingers crossed I get one of these right.
Oh, Duke
Kentucky
was
and Duke.
the projected 4 seed. Now, I did
Okay.
not really actually have Kentucky pegged as that good in 3-point offense. That's pretty interesting. They must have come on pretty recently, which is kind of scary for everyone else. Like if Kentucky's getting hot right now, and obviously like we're recording this in the shadow of a really, really impressive performance by them. So yeah, I guess I kind of don't like Kentucky at that price if we're kind of thinking through here. I also wouldn't be shocked if Duke and Kentucky ended up in the same bracket as a 3 and the 4 with a vulnerable 1 and 2, because the committee likes to do that sort of thing where you could potentially have a seat in the Final Four on the line between a Duke and Kentucky blue blood head to head after upsetting a 1 and a 2. So yeah, the if you missed it, the Reed Shepherd game winner last night for Kentucky was unreal. If you have that guy, a guy like that can make those type of shots, then you're definitely in the running to upset a 1.
Yeah, I don't mind a ticket on any of these two teams. I mean, 22-1, 25-1 is pretty appealing for programs like these blue bloods. But if you don't know what Kentucky's done the last 2 games, for people watching or listening, Kentucky scored 117 and 91 points in their last 2 games. So yeah, I think that's coming on strong, Drew.
Yeah,
10 of 30 from 3, and then they also had, I want to say, 13 of 24 from 3.
13 of 24 against Alabama. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 54% from deep. So yeah, I'd say that puts you in position to be climb a couple ranks for a 3-point percentage. So yeah, that was fun. Round 1.
They have some other sterling recent performances since February, like really just capture February. Against Tennessee, they went 12 of 27. Now, Tennessee has a good 3-point D. Against Vanderbilt, 15 of 26. And then, yeah, you mentioned it, Alabama, and that may be more of an indictment of Alabama's defense than anything. 13 to 24. Like that's rare air. Like that's elite stuff.
And the one game where they didn't shoot particularly well or up to their standards from 3 was the loss against Gonzaga, where they went 6 of 17 from 3. I only know that because I took Kentucky in that game. So, but you briefly mentioned Tennessee. I think they could end up being the number 1 seed outside of Arizona if Arizona's not getting it, Drew. Any opinion on that before you give me my team seed first, team D?
I mean, I really am not. I really am not sure here.
It's got to be like them or North Carolina, the ACC or SEC winner, probably.
Yeah, maybe like Auburn has really come on super duper strong here. They're playing good basketball. The winner of the SEC championship, if it's like Auburn v Tennessee, maybe gets it. I don't think you're going to get 2 Big 12ers. So Iowa State's probably very locked into a 2 seed. Alabama, even if they get a 2 seed, is they are on huge upset alert. Kansas as well, in my opinion. So yeah, it's I would say the general kind of vibe would be the winner of the SEC if it's Auburn v Tennessee.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing with you. I think Arizona's kind of a fade. And I wish I would have got that price before they lost against Washington State. Another team that could be a sleeper entering March. But I'm ready, Drew. I'm ready for mine. Let's go.
Okay, let's pull up the card. This is Team C versus Team D. Team C also. These 2 teams are expected to be in the mix here, right? We got a projected 2 seed for Team C.
Okay.
They are 21st in efficiency on offense. They are 318th in offensive free throw rate. So they never get to the free throw line. No freebies for these guys. 6-5 record against Q1 opponents, 21-6 overall, 12-4 in conference, 9-1 last 10 games. They are plus 575 to make the Final Four. They are 25-1 to win the national title. This is an interesting one with that big of a, that low of a ranking in offensive free throw rate. I feel like that might be a giveaway here. They are up against Team D. You're getting a better price with Team D. They are projected 3 seed. They are currently 46th in efficiency on offense. They are currently 88th in offensive free throw rate. So not as efficient offensively, but they get to the line a heck of a lot more. 4-5 record against Q1 opponents, 20-7 overall, 7-3 in their last 10 games. This team will give you a price of plus 750 to make the Final Four and 35-1 to win the national title. So a little worse seed, little better price, much better getting to the stripe, but not quite as efficient on offense. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this is tough. You said you think it's a dead giveaway who Team C is because their offensive free throw rate?
I said it could. Like, I actually don't
It
really.
could be.
I off the top of my head, I can't really tell you who's like a really good team that never gets to the line. But I think that if you may know.
I don't. I'm sure maybe Kansas. Like, I mean, but they have bigs. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to take a team that's not getting to the free throw line. Like, you must be getting to the free throw line in March. That's that we discussed this a lot, Drew. Like, you
Gotta have
have
some
to be
easy
knocking down your free
buckets. Yeah.
throws.
Yeah.
You have to be forcing turnovers. You don't want to be turning the ball over too much. We want a 3-point shooting team, as you alluded to earlier, in Team A versus Team B. I kind of feel like Team D now, because of the odds, the conference record, and the Q1 record. I think that could be Illinois.
Okay.
Projected 3 seed. And I do think Illinois is the team you want to be betting on out of the entire Big Ten. Like, to win the Big Ten conference, I'm taking Illinois,
Okay.
no matter where they're seeded or slated. But in March Madness too, I think they can make a run. But the 2 seeds got me, man, because I'm thinking, first I was thinking Iowa State, but I know Iowa State's lost more than once in their last 10 games. So it can't be that. Couldn't be Kansas, I guess, either by that metric. So I'm stumped on Team C, but I think I'd rather take Team D. And if it's Illinois, that doesn't make much sense probably, but we'll see. We'll find out. What do you think?
Okay. Well, between those two, I would go D as well. If you're not getting to this free throw line, if you're not getting some easy baskets, I don't know how, it makes it that much tougher for you to get the upsets that you need to ultimately get it home, which would tilt me more towards a Final Four price than a championship price. But between those two, if that's a little bit of a glaring outlier low for a free throw rate. So I'm with you. Let's take Team D in this case, and let's go for the reveal. I don't have any. You got your Illinois Fighting Illini was Illinois. Team D. That was our bet.
Okay.
And Marquette Golden Eagles were Team C. I actually, for whatever reason, I had completely lost track of the fact that Marquette is 9-1 in their last 10. I guess the one was a very, 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 very bad loss to UConn. But these guys went head to head earlier this season with Marquette coming out on top. Now, let me just do kind of one final exercise before we move on, Vaughn. If this is a 2-3 head to head in the Sweet 16 at a neutral site, we'll say Boston. What's the opening line here?
Ooh, I think Marquette's probably laying 3.5. Would you say?
Wow, really?
I mean,
okay.
Marquette. Okay. I mean, Marquette beat them. People are going to be quick to take Marquette because they beat them. And here's the thing, because I initially had to check right away: was Terrence Shannon playing in that game? Because that makes a huge difference. And he was. He had 21 points in that game, 5 turnovers too, might I mention. But Marquette has some really, really impressive wins this year. Although a lot of them came early in the season, beating Kansas, UCLA, Texas. I think I'd rather have Marquette than Illinois.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
But the free throw rate, that's stunning.
Yeah. That is crazy. I feel like they should address that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
looking at it now, they only make 14% of their point distribution comes from the free throw line, and they're shooting 71.9%.
It's crazy low.
So, yeah, bringing back 81% of your roster, you would have thought they'd focus on free throw shooting in the offseason. I don't know. You'd rather have Marquette or Illinois then?
I don't know. I mean, Marquette does have a whiff of a team that's going to be underbet because of crashing out last year and because it's been a long, long time since we've seen them beat elite teams. So maybe game by game with Marquette, you're going to get a little bit better value, and then maybe you pull the ripcord once they go up against a 1 seed.
Yeah, and also, if you think the 3.5 spread of Marquette might be wild, I was trying to think of Illinois' best win outside the conference, and I've been looking for like 90 seconds, Drew, and I still can't find it.
Okay.
I mean, Oakland, maybe. Florida Atlantic. Oh, Florida Atlantic would be it. It would be Florida Atlantic, I guess, or Missouri or Colgate. So you pick those three, but yeah, it's tough. But you know what's going on in Florida, Drew?
What's
Right
that?
now?
Spring training?
It's here. Yeah. So for those looking to get ahead on the upcoming MLB season, grab your Roto World Baseball Draft Guide. It's loaded with comprehensive positional rankings, projections, and player profiles to ensure your draft is a success. Visit NBCSports.com/draft guide. And don't forget, use code BASEBALL24 to get 10% off at checkout. Now, we couldn't let you off easy, Drew. We're going to do a third one. This is a bracket buster. So this one should be the toughest because it's a 7 and 8 seed projection for Team E versus Team F.
Okay.
I'm shaking in my boots already for you. Now, Team E got the better defensive efficiency, 17th overall, but Team F, 11th in offensive efficiency because they shoot 6th from the 2-point offense and 13th in 2-point defense. Pretty good. But the downfall of Team F, Drew, 1-5 record against quad one opponents. 12-2 though in conference play. 20-1 to make the Final Four. But Team E, 12-1 to make the Final Four, 15-1 to win the Natty. And that team has a 3-7 record against quad one opponents. 9-8 though in conference record. So Team 8 struggling in conference. 9-8. Team F thriving in conference. 12-2. Makes you think Team F might be more of a mid-major.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. If you're 9-1 in your last 10, then you're playing against weaker opponents. If you otherwise have a 1-5 record against quad one opponents, so yeah, I would say mid-major, maybe low mid-major. The pick here for me to bet on between 7 and 8 would be 7. The 12-1 to make the Final Four would probably be the bet, although that price does not seem like super appealing with the team that has a 3-7 record against quad one opponents. But the 17th in adjusted defensive efficiency, if I'm picking a bracket buster to come out of a weak quarter, weak region of the draw, I want a bracket buster that is elite defensively. And 17th in adjusted defensive efficiency tells me, can they make it to the Sweet 16? Sure. Are they going to need a little luck after that? Yes, obviously. But if you're this projected 7 seed, you need to win your 7-10, which is a little bit of a coin flip, and then you need to have your defense show up in your 2-7 matchup. And I think with if you're 17th best, if you're up against, Alabama as a 2 seed or something along those lines, then hallelujah, you could potentially steal a spot in the Sweet 16. And from there, you're playing with a little bit of house money if you're 12-1 to make the Final Four. So give me Team E between these two. And if you're going to make me guess, boy, man, let's take the mid-major. That's got to be like a whack team, right? It's got to be a whack team.
I know who Team F is. I know who Team
F
is.
Okay,
yeah,
well, don't tell me yet.
Don't
tell me that.
I'm not going to tell you.
I'm just going to take a stab. I'm just going to take a wild stab. The Team E, I'm guessing, is a Power 5, and man, projected 7 seed. I give up, man. Give me the reveals, unless you want to guess who Team F is.
Team F, because they're 1-5 and against the quad one. That's got to be Gonzaga, because their only quad one was against Kentucky, the game I just mentioned previously in the show. So that's got to be Gonzaga, I think. Team E, I'm just going to take a stab. I don't think it's right, but I'm going to say Kansas State. But I feel like their numbers could be around that. and 3-7 against quad one opponents would be the Big 12 potentially, maybe the Big 10.
Sure.
So
Big 12. That
I
was
don't
kind of
know.
my thinking as well. But I didn't realize Gonzaga was that far off against the elite. Holy smokes.
I think Team F is definitely Gonzaga, but Team E, I'm not totally sure. You got any opinions, or are we ready for the reveal?
No, let's go for the reveal.
Let's do it. Who we got?
No,
Michigan State, Gonzaga. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Definitely taking Sparty over Gonzaga. I mean, not even the Tom Izzo factor, the March Madness factor from Michigan State, but I'm not taking
Wow.
Gonzaga.
I mean, Michigan State wins ugly. We know, that's the way they want to do it. So the kind of weak 2-point offense and elite adjusted defensive efficiency, that checks out. If you put the Spartans, I guess, what kind of number would you give me if Spartans end up as the 7 and they get Alabama in the 2-7?
Oh my God, Alabama against Michigan State?
Yeah, what kind of Alabama minus?
They got to be laying 7.5.
7? Oh wow, 7.5.
7.5, I'd probably say.
Okay. All right.
People
so
want to bet it down.
Okay.
You got to make it outside of it. You got to make it big because people love Michigan State in March.
So final. I may adjust my opinion then. So if you're only getting 12-1 to make the Final Four, and against the weakest 2 seed, you would be a 7.5 point dog. I'm out at 12-1. Like, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
It really isn't. And 20-1 for a Gonzaga 8 seed. If they were to put them up against, though, I don't know, Purdue in the Midwest, that would be pretty interesting to me at 20-1, because you really just need them to get that one upset, and then they have the 1 seeds draw, and obviously there's a lot of experience there coaching and they could get to a Final Four. I wouldn't shock the world, I don't think, with the talent on that team. Wow. So I'm going to change my answer. Actually, I would rather have Gonzaga 20-1 than Michigan State 12-1, I think.
Oh, man. I mean, I'm not touching Gonzaga. I've been getting made fun of lately for saying that, but I do not think they're nearly as – you know me. I love Gonzaga and Baylor. Since we've met, Drew, those have been 2 of my babies. But I'm off the Bulldogs train this year. I did have them, though, projected as an 8 seed. I just started filling out my bracketology 2 days ago to post on NBC Sports, so keep an eye out for that this weekend. But I had Gonzaga as an 8 seed, Michigan State as a 7 seed. So maybe, although I'm low on Gonzaga, I'm a little higher on them in seeding because of just the potential for them to, get lined up in a Purdue or Arizona side. And, maybe they catch those teams slipping because March Madness is way more open this year than we've seen in years past.
Sure.
But next week, go ahead.
What was the preseason ranking for Gonzaga? Do you remember?
So, I do not. I could find it easily. And actually, I'm glad you said that, because I was going to say, for Michigan State, they were very, very hyped up this year, and people expected a lot out of them. And they kind of let everyone down in a lot of ways, and especially the start of the season. So, but both those teams, I'm not confident in moving forward. But here, I just pulled up the AP Top 25 to start the season. Gonzaga was 11th.
Where were these guys? They were 11th. How about Michigan State?
4th.
Ooh, man. Okay. Man, now I'm waffling back. If you had the
Marquette,
kind of elite talent.
Marquette was 5th.
Yeah. So interesting. Okay. So this is an interesting thought exercise. I like both of those bracket busters, actually. In the right draw, I think those are both guys that I'm going to have sincere consideration for once we get to that point in the season. So fun exercise. And I guess I'm looking at the resume for Gonzaga, even if somehow, some way they don't ship the WCC, which actually wouldn't be shocking, because I guess St. Mary's is a little better than them. They looks like they have enough wins over the bubble that they would still be in the field as a at large, right? Gonzaga's getting in.
So, I think that they would be able to get in over a lot of these lower end, Big Ten or ACC schools, Big East schools.
Okay. So if you're getting involved with Gonzaga, you could potentially get a little equity if they win the WCC now, and you're not really risking them getting, them getting the shaft and being in the NIT, I guess.
Yeah. Don't think they'll either be the favorite either to win their conference. So you could be getting a pretty decent price on that. But we'll definitely be doing some more blind resumes and talking about bracket busters as the weeks get closer to March Madness. And I do want to know too, because now that I'm looking at the top 25 preseason, I'm very intrigued to see like who doesn't make the NCAA tournament that was on that list. But teams that USC is definitely not. The Bronny James factor pushed them into the top
Yeah.
25, Drew. And then we had, Arkansas in there as well, who look like they're not going to make it. But other than that, the rest of the AP top 25 looks to be solidified unless FAU does not get that large bid, which they may not win their conference either. South Florida's a pretty good basketball team. South Florida hasn't won a championship ever in any conference they've ever been in, Drew, and they might do it in basketball this season. So keep an eye out on that. But another fun exercise down. Now we have to move on to the NBA. And you said you're warming up, baby. So I need to hear the bets. Don't give us an easy one. Don't give us an easy one like Charlotte Hornets team total under against the Bucks after they put up an 85 piece.
Oh my goodness.
I live bet, Drew.
Yeah.
3.5 and lost. And I thought, wow, I just got burned by the Charlotte Hornets.
We got we got some bad. There was some bad basketball on last night, man. I don't know if you saw the Knicks, but goodness gracious, that was a very, very lean depth chart they were playing with. And that was like what, the third worst. You had Hornets who were miserable and the Nets who were unwatchable. But that's okay, Vaughn, because the best regular season basketball game of the NBA season happened last night. And it was the Max Strus show. I did not have that on my bingo card, that Max Strus was going to be the most important character at the end of the month of February for a contending team. But the Cavaliers had been scuffling coming out of the All-Star break. They had been stumbling. And there were some clips on the, I watched through my NBA.com account. And if you were watching the Cleveland broadcast, you're getting like an inside look at what the players are saying in the huddle and stuff. And, Donovan Mitchell's getting everybody fired up as they got a 5-point lead. He's like, we're in great position to close this one down. And then the Mavericks went on just an electric run. And it was like, all right, turn it off. Like, I can't believe Cavs blew it again. Like this team, I've seen it so many times. This team cannot close. And then Max Strus said, not so fast. And what a performance he put together, just absolutely lighting it up from three. And they were, there was a couple funky whistles. Refs they were not in playoff form last night. The Mavs and the Cavs were, I thought. Incredible sequence by Doncic to take the lead. And then Strus at the buzzer from 60 plus. Just incredible sequence and very, very fun. And I don't know, number one, how the Mavs keep losing games like that. Like it feels like they are in the closest, like coin flippy end of game stuff more than any other team. But it's wild to see it. And it's wild to see the Cavs come out ahead in those kind of situations because they've been pretty unclutched in general. So huge one for anyone with Cavs Midwest prices. Huge one for anyone who's holding on to dear life for their Pelicans whatever the Pelicans division is, Southeast. I don't remember. But the Southeast, excuse me, the Southwest, the Southeast is the one that is really interesting, Vaughn. You said there's some interesting stuff happening in Florida, and you were teasing it with you're teasing the spring training. The interesting stuff happening in Florida is the Magic are about to run down the Heat. And they're about to pass them with aggressiveness. And I'm now like triple down here on Magic. And let me just tell you, man, their upcoming schedule, holy smokes. It is cake. I think there is a very realistic chance if the Knicks are not healthy on March 8th, when the Magic go to the Garden, it is possible that the Magic are favored in every game until April, which is outrageous. Like there is a very realistic chance that you don't even have to buy in that the Magic are a good team. Like they're playing. They're just in an advantage spot over and over and over again. They have an 8-game homestand at the end of March. They're not traveling. Like this team is going to be fresh. They are going to be electric, and they're only a half game back right now of the Heat. The Heat are still dealing with trying to really figure out who they are. I know they came up with an impressive win against the Kings, but that really told you, I think, more about the Kings than it did about the Heat. You have guys like Bam Adebayo playing so many minutes and carrying so much of the load. Like, I really have trouble seeing that kind of maintain. But the bigger issue for the Heat, if you're not looking ahead at their schedule, like, good luck on Thursday against the Nuggets. That's the game that I have circled because I think the Nuggets are going to be a pretty decent bet there. They're on a back-to-back in that game, but I think you could realistically lay up to about 7.5 there. Then they go home from Denver to Miami to play the Jazz and the Pistons, back out on the road for at Mavs, at Thunder. They got another game against the Nuggets in the middle of March. They got some Sixers after Embiid may be back. They got the at Sixers, at Cavs in back-to-back games, and then Cavs, Warriors to round out the month of March. So, I mean, realistically, could the Heat lose 6+ games in March? Absolutely. Will the Magic be underdogs in more than one? I don't think so. Like, this is a great opportunity for them to close the gap and flip the division. And just, again, considering how weak their schedule is and the fact that the Knicks are stumbling, the Sixers are stumbling, could the Magic kind of pump all the way up to a 4 or 5 seed? Do not be surprised if it happens.
Yeah, no, that was my thinking weeks ago whenever I looked at the second half strength of schedules, and Orlando Magic's was by far the easiest down the stretch. And you looked at a couple games. I mean, you talked about the 8-game home stretch where they're getting, Toronto, Charlotte, Memphis, Portland. Like, those are almost guaranteed wins at some points. Toronto's making a push now, winning 3 or 4 straight games. So they're obviously, trying to make a postseason spot. But I like the position Orlando's in, and I kind of wanted to ask your opinion on this futures parlay I took because I had a boost. While it was only allowed to be $25, I figured I might as well do something that in the summer I might just get a random $1,000, Drew, because that's always nice. I know you're big in the futures market. So at 40-1, I took the Mavericks, the Magic, the Bucks, and the Thunder to win their divisions. And I feel like the Bucks, although I don't believe in them in a 7-game series, they're starting to catch their stride a little bit and find out some chemistry issues. The Mavericks obviously got some big man depth at their deadline. I think the Magic are going to catch the Heat, and then the Thunder are going to be the most wild 1 seed since the Atlanta Hawks in 2014, probably.
Yeah, I think it's all that's all coming. You got 40-1 on that?
Yeah.
You're in good shape. The Mavs one is the one that's a little questionable just because the Pelicans are an absolute mystery box. Yeah. Like, they could be good, they could be bad. They play sloppy, but they're playing against a team that doesn't have any healthy players, so they win easy. Like, they are a very, very tough team to put your finger on. But the Mavericks, the additions that they made, it was pretty clear last night. They are a very, very different team than a team that was a little bit underwhelming through the first half of the season. So they're going to be a problem for someone in the playoffs, man. That team, Luka's just, he's unreal ability to create his own shot and can make it contested. He was making contested threes in the highest leverage moments, like it was like it was nobody else, the empty gym type of stuff. It was crazy. So yeah, I think that has real life. As far as games on the card tomorrow that have my interest, right now we don't have a ton of lines up, but expecting something like 11.5 in Milwaukee. I don't mind laying that. Something like 11.5 in Oklahoma City, or Milwaukee in Charlotte. 11 with Oklahoma City and San Antonio. Don't mind that at all. These teams that are absolutely clicking and kind of getting into playoff form are all bet ons right now for me. There's no real fatigue disadvantages for anyone tomorrow. Everybody's pretty evenly rested. Friday is kind of where it gets interesting. You start to see a couple of fascinating ones, and your Toronto Raptors, who are running down the Atlanta Hawks for that last play-in spot, they host the Golden State Warriors, who are at a huge disadvantage there. You could get Toronto as a decent dog on Friday, and that's going to be the game of the day for the bettors.
I like that. Do you have any opinion I want to ask you? Because I just saw an opening line for the Nets-Hawks game. The Nets are 2-point favorites, and that's a team that still might be playing for that last position while the Hawks are injured. Or are you just staying away from that? bad
I mean,
basketball.
they were incredible against the Jazz yesterday in the absence of Trae Young, and there's a little bit of a superstar subtraction thing there because everybody's gets their opportunity to shine a little bit more offensively. So, yeah, that's Hawks or pass. The Nets can't create offense right now. Like they had one hot quarter with Dennis Schroeder hitting every three that he took, and that was enough to get them the win against Memphis. But otherwise, it has been lean coming from the Nets offense.
Thank you, Dennis Schroeder. I appreciate you, brother. Yeah, I thought that was a way too easy bet. The Nets at home against the Grizzlies. The Nets against the Grizzlies the other day. But yeah, I love that. It's part of my hot streak. We're gonna do our best bets, Drew, for the Thursday slate. We're
Okay.
obviously taping this Wednesday night, so we don't have our early bets. But what would your best one be in the
Yeah,
NBA?
don't overthink it. Get a price on the Magic for the Southeast and enjoy the ride.
All right, yeah, I love that because I'm already on that. So may have to double down another half a unit or a unit on that bad boy. But if I'm getting anything under 3 points, I'm taking the Rutgers Scarlet Knights
Okay.
at home against the Michigan Wolverines. Michigan is, I mean, if there's a seller, they're below it, Drew. When it comes to the Big Ten basketball, they've been putrid this year. Juwan Howard is out the door once their offseason hits. So I'm looking to get Rutgers in a nice bounce back spot at home with few home games left. But I'm with you on the Orlando Magic. Let's hope Luka Doncic triple doubles tonight. And by the time you guys hear this and see this, he have done it because it's his birthday on Wednesday night. So happy birthday, Luka Doncic. Do what you do best. Get his buckets and triple doubles. Drew, any shout outs for you before we get out of here?
All good, man. Great show as always. And yeah, best of luck this week.
Best of luck this week to you too. For everyone, don't forget to head over to NBCSports.com for more info to help you out with your wagers or fantasy. For always, Drew and Vaughn, we appreciate you. And from producer Adam and Dan, thank you guys as always. We'll see you later.